Hey guys, this is Chris with Taylor Welding, and today we're talking about 60-10 5P plus. That's important because that's what we use welding pipe. And if you can weld with that rod, you can make a lot of money. And if you're not, if you don't want to be a welder, you need to weld with it anyway because things are going to break in your life and you're going to need to weld something. Now, the first mistake I see people make is trying to weld with crappy welding rods with a crappy welding machine. Two pieces of crap don't equal a good weld. But first, I want to show you how to distinguish real fast if your welding rods are good or not. Nobody told me this. I kind of figured it out on my journey. And what happens is moisture will get underneath that flux. Moisture gets in there and you won't know it. Well, if it gets bad enough, you will. But what will happen is you'll be welding and you'll be feeding that rod in, and all of a sudden a little bubble will pop up. You're like, is that a bubble? And it'll just puke everywhere. Or the rod will toenail on one side or the other. And you'll see welders, they'll be moving that rod around trying to make that thumbnail go away. I hate doing that. The best thing is to have some good fresh welding rods, but I have endeavored to persevere for so long. I have burnt so many crappy welding rods, I've gotten away with it. You can do it. It just makes your day a little bit longer, and I understand. If they're too bad, throw them away. If they're bad and you're not good enough to weld on pipe, you can save them and weld on the fence. I'm to the point now where I don't want to weld with a bad welding rod. I don't care what it's on. I want my welds to look good and I want it to be easy. You know, the more you got to do, the harder it is, the less fun it is. So let's get into it. This welding rod is an old red 60-10. A lot of you old timers have seen these. I have welded with them growing up, and man, I'm glad I don't have to weld with them anymore. They weld okay, but they're nothing like a 5P plus. Not to me anyway. But you'll notice this one's pretty fresh. I don't know how. I've had it in that refrigerator for a couple years in a climate controlled area, so they'll stay good for a long time like that. When I start bending this rod, you'll notice the flux pop off of it. Check it out. Okay. So if it was really fresh, it would pow, it would pop. But you see what happened. So this is actually an 80-10. It's the same difference though. When you bend it, when you get about right here, that dude ought to pop. It ought to. But see how it's bending on around? It's just, there's nothing happening. It's little cracks here and there. That's not a super fresh rod. Now I'll burn these all day long, don't get me wrong. But if they're old enough, they won't even do that. They'll just bend around the rod because it's old, moisture and wet, and it's just, you know, not that good. Now, here's another little tip. If you have some rods like this that are, you know, fair to middling, that aren't really good for bead rods, you can use them to fill. When those things are blowing out on the side and they're toenailing and stuff like that, it's not going to matter if you're filling. I mean, you can kind of move it around and piddle with it. If you're beading, it's kind of, don't quit till the bottom. You don't want to be doing a bunch of moving around, but if they're semi fair to middling, you can use them on your filler. If they're really bad, throw them away. And don't try to cap with them. I hate capping with a crappy rod. And I've done it more than I care to talk about. But it just makes it's just hard to weld with a bad rod. It's the moral of the story. Now, I want to touch on a little bit, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, I want to keep my videos short and precise, on how to weld with a 60-10, because a lot of you guys are just getting started and you're interested and you got that little fire going, and I want to try to keep it going, because if I can encourage you to make some money, I can encourage you to invest it. And then I encourage you to go to the Bahamas with me and hang out. But anyway, so let's say you got your good fresh welding rod and you got you a piece of plate, and I looked on YouTube to try to find this information right here, and I didn't really get it. Not really, not fast. Everybody was talking about whip it. Whip what? We're not whipping eggs. Whip. No, don't do it. I told you so. Don't be whipping it. Step it. Everything's controlled. Everything's precise. You go in here and you start doing this crazy stuff, you're just going to make a mess. Here's what I want you to do. I've tried to tell kids this. They already know everything. But you can listen if you want to or not. But here's what I do every day for the last 20 years. You're going to take that rod and you're going to go right where you're going to start. And you're going to scratch it. And you're going to pull back just a little bit. Scratch it, pull back just a little bit. Let your rod kind of get, not way out here where it goes out. Scratch it, pull back just a little bit. Let it, as it's burning off, start getting closer, and then make you a little puddle. Kind of, this will be horizontal, so I immediately want to do my rod like this because you know gravity's fighting you anyway. Scratch it, and then make you a puddle. Like that. Hesitate, step. Hesitate, step. Step and stack. Step, stack. Step, stack. Step, stack. Step, stack. It's that simple. Step, stack. Step, stack. I know I'm saying it over and over, but it's really important. Get that rhythm in your head because that's what it's going to take. Especially on the bottom. When you get on the bottom of something, you have to really kind of spread them out. Never whipping. There's no whipping involved in welding, unless you're whipping on a helper. But when you're on the bottom, you want to get out of it and come back. Step, stack. Step, stack. I've seen people do that. Don't do that. I hate to even watch it. It bothers me. So anyway, this is Taylor Welding. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and if you want to learn stuff about rental properties, gold and silver and things that makes it to where you don't have to work for the rest of your life, go check me out on Financial Fitness. I'll put it in the description below. I hope y'all have an awesome day. Like and subscribe and ring the bell. I'll see you tomorrow.